Outlast Trials will have side quests? Are the other patients watching the experiments happen before it's their turn? And will Mother Gooseberry be an ally? I'm Michael Strawn, and this is the podcast. First thing I would like to talk about is, will Outlast Trials have side missions? I think it's a high probability of actually happening, which is going to be pretty cool, because unlike the other Outlast games, I don't think we've ever had side quests or side missions, sort of like Skyrim and stuff like that. Now, is there a whole lot of evidence for this? No, but with the inclusion of Mr. Noakes in their last documentary clip, I think it is pretty solidified as being the case. Now, first we got to talk about, does the main character escape from their cell? When when we play the game, we can clearly, like when we looked at the trailers, we can clearly see our character running through the facility, doing its thing. And actually, in the first trailer, we see that we are the one being rescued by this woman. Now, here's the thing, right? Who were we in that trailer? Who represents the main character? Is it the dude, or is it the actual female? Now, let me tell you this, right? That woman is the one rescuing us and is trying to pull us up. And I can only assume that she got to that point because she either escaped, or they were, Red Barrels was showing off the multiplayer feature, or the potential for the multiplayer feature. So maybe that doesn't necessarily count. But anyway, I can almost guarantee, with the inclusion of Mr. Noakes and the information that surrounds him, it's almost guaranteed that we are going to be escaping our confinement and running wild, trying to rescue the others. This is one of the reasons why Red Barrel said your morality will be tested. It's an obvious statement that represents that we will have to rescue the other patients using our own morality to do so. Now, let's talk about Mr. Noakes, right? Mr. Noakes obviously is a person that is, he's a tinker. He's going to be making objects. He's going to be giving the player objects, and he's going to be sharing his story. So we're going to be sympathizing with him. We're going to finally figure out whether or not he's doing this by force, or if he's doing this out of his own free will, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, on that one. Now, Mr. Noakes will most likely give the prisoner missions to complete, whether that be for his own reason, his own wants and needs, or for the main character, or he feels bad for the main character and wants to support them in their endeavors. Now, when we are given these missions, I can only assume these are going to be missions that are retrieving weapons, or maybe we're retrieving different fragments of keys, and we need to unlock some doors, or maybe we need a security code or something like that. And he's going to be providing these objects in order for us to progress to the next levels of the game. Now, there's been a lot of leaked images of Outlast Trials. Now, a lot of them seem pretty random. We got the whole Christmas one, and I don't even know that's going to be in it, or if that was just a, celebratory happy or Merry Christmas to the fan base. But if we look at all the other ones, the ones where we see a car, we're down an alleyway, we see a grocery store, like a little grocery outlet. When we see the toy factory, I'm fairly certain there was one where we see like this toy shop, or there's a mass accumulation of mannequins, and that's what they released a few years ago. Now, there was some other released images that I wasn't aware of, because I think they only released them. They didn't release them on the page. They released them specifically on their Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and I was luckily able to find these images. Now, if we look at them, the first one that was sort of shown to the audience is this religious one, where we could see mannequins covered in blood, and they're looking at Jesus. There's obviously a guy dead on the counter. And we see a crazy person, basically, doing his thing, looking all crazy and stuff like that. Now, this image in itself doesn't tell us that much. We can say, oh, look, there's like a little speck of information that we can totally, we can totally reveal the whole game by just exploiting this little speck. Well, no, trust me, I've searched this image up and down. There's nothing really fantastic about it, except for the fact that it looks like Outlast 2, which honestly could be a little separate theory that Outlast 2 was inspired by these experiments, specifically this room, the whole religious imagery part. But then again, the whole religious mind control thing is not a new piece of news, so it could have just been two separate things utilizing the same method of fear and control. But anyway, the reason why I am looking at this image is because there is another image that showcases a very damp room, very dark. You can see 3 TV screens. We can see a character, the Axeman, the guy I mentioned prior to this episode. And he is just sort of ominously sitting there. There's a burned corpse. There's blood all over the walls. This right here, as well as the other images that have been released, showcases that there's the level design is going to be severely different and very far. There's going to be a lot of dichotomy between the actual locations. There's going to be religious parts. There's going to be these parts. There's going to be a grocery outlet part. There's going to be a mannequin workshop part. All these images can. It's sort of safe to say that all these levels that we're looking are different parts of the game, different steps. We'll have different side missions, and to keep the game interesting, the map designers or the lead storyteller wants to actually implement different levels of the facility in order to acquire specific items so we can fight a big entity. Now, a big enemy, who is that going to be? It could be Mother Gooseberry. I have no clue, but I can only assume it's going to be big because with different levels and with retrieving items, there's going to be a ramp up. There's going to be a build up of actual fear and lore, and we're going to have to be fully prepared to experience an extremely amazing ending because they're doing this build up. I couldn't imagine any other reason why there's going to be there's different levels that are being shown unless there is going to be missions. There's going to be different characters we have to escape from, such as the Axeman and this guy that's right here. This could be Radiohead. I don't think it is though. And the dollhouse. It would make no sense to have all these different locations that have extreme contrast with each other to be in one location. It has to be a huge facility that have different locations that are dispersed between the parts, between the side quests, the missions. So this is one of the this is the whole argument, right? Is that when we got Mr. Noakes, when we saw Mr. Noakes and what his sort of method of doing things is going to be in the game, it shouted, it distributed the information subconsciously, most likely, in my opinion, that every single image that we've got from this game so far is just basically hitting punching us in the face that this game is going to be a literal point and get kind of game where we have to find objects, go get the objects, get the objects, give the objects to Mr. Noakes, upgrade it, and continue doing that until we reach the primary boss. That in itself is going to be exciting. For the fear factor of that, I guess it will be, it will definitely implement a new type of fear, the fear of uncertainty. We're not going to know, when we're going to a new level for the very first time we're playing it, we could be, in this extremely nice and interesting level where it's like, it's, calm. Like I know there was a receptionist office level, we could just be walking through there. Everything's pretty chill. Everything's pretty calm. And then after we let's say the first level we escape. Let's say that the first level we escape from our actual imprisonment, and we're just sort of, we made it out. We're just trying to continue on with our lives, etc. Then we run into like Mr. Noakes, and he tells us this whole spiel about how we need to rescue these people. We have the option to save these other patients from their damnation and from Murkoff. And that tugs at our heartstrings. And maybe we'll have an option to completely say, nope, I'm out. Or we can stay and, we can fight for our fellow people. It is it's very similar sounding to the Five Nights at Freddy's game that we recently got. With the huge mall type plaza. That when we reach the end of the game, we have three options, and obviously the second option, I think it was the second option, is the best option because then you can go explore and find other parts or whatever. But anyway, we will most likely have this kind of option too, where there's multiple endings. Like I said, I can only assume that there's going to be multiple endings because there's going to be choice, the choice to save people and the choice to trust our morality. Why else would they say, you have to trust your morality? That obviously implies that we have to have a choice about if we want to live or if we want to save the other individuals. So Mr. Noakes is going to be telling us that we need to explore the different levels in order to save a high volume of people. Now, I don't really know what the high volume of people is going to be. I don't know. Maybe we'll be introduced to these characters. Maybe they'll be locked up in a specific prison. It's one of those things where we're just going to have to wait and see. Now, here's the thing, right? I guess I got to say the ultimate problem I see with this with this sort of gaming style is that it's going to be very complex. And what I mean by that is, if we're going to be talking about tinkering, we're going to be going to Mr. Noakes, playing a game where we have to achieve things. I guess the one problem, or no, not problem, like the one thing I'm sort of hesitant on is obviously going to be the horror factor. I'm thinking of Luigi's Mansion. Luigi's Mansion, where we have to go to the doctor, or in this case Mr. Noakes, and then we're given missions. We got to get stuff in order to obtain a main goal. That game wasn't really scary in my opinion. The first game, it was sort of scary, and I can understand how that sort of game design will be terrifying. But for me personally, I don't think it wasn't really that scary to me. We're gonna be introduced to all these characters, so I feel like it's pretty much just gonna be like a show off. Trials are gonna be like, hey, we got tons of people. We're definitely on top of this game thing. Here's basically here's what we got. We're gonna be all a little showy. Take a look at this amazing shine to our whole thing. It's pretty much just, I feel like this is pretty much a showpiece to see how much they've gone, how far they've gone. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, and obviously there's going to be lore to it. It's not just like a show pony or anything like that. But I think this game only is going to represent some type of showy. This is how our company, how much we've succeeded. Again, there's nothing wrong with that, but it feels like it could be a little, not lazy, but a little, I don't know. It's like a little, I feel like it takes away from the other games. It would take away from the other games. And this is assuming that my theory is correct. I'm still going to enjoy the game. Trust me. I'm going to enjoy the game like there's no tomorrow. But at the same time, I do have my reservations about there being different levels and experiencing different, different heights of horror, as they might put it. It feels like it feels showy. It feels like all they're doing is trying to showcase how many spots that they can open up, how big these levels are, and the different characters that they implemented and all that stuff. Now, if we compare it to the first game, it was minimal work. Not minimal work. There was a lot of work put into it, but the actual animations, the time it took to beat the game, it was all it was pretty simple, easy, but effective in telling this message. And that's one of the reasons why I'm obsessed with it. Like, don't get me wrong, they definitely succeeded in telling a very amazing game. But it was the whole reason why I think, and personally, the whole reason why I think people love that game is because it was simple. We had the government conspiracy thing. We had an asylum that we can explore. It was simple, and it was incredible to sort of to partake in. We got to see all these awesome characters and whatnot. And yeah, sure, there were different chapters, but it was a part of the same asylum. It was a part of the the same overall feeling. Even in Whistleblower, we were in the same asylum, going through different chapters of the game. With this, although it is very, very similar, it's we're gonna be going through the same facility, which is gonna be fine. But it's obviously it feels off. Something feels off. Like with Temple Gate, with Temple Gate, in Outlast 2, there was different chapters of the game, of course, but it felt very different. It felt like we just were in a world where it was too big, and we were claustrophobic because we were in the outside world and whatnot. But it felt like there was some type of thing that was holding us back, I guess. No, and don't get me wrong, I think Outlast 2 is very high up there on beating Outlast 1 to be the best game. And I'm only saying that for the lore aspect of it, but for the level design, it was a bit clunky. Like in the actual layer in Outlast 2 when we were in the mines, there was there was a whole thing about this hidden level that no one really got to or anything like that, and a lot of people got really pissed off and a little upset that they didn't utilize these areas. So in essence, the levels they could have been done a little better, crafted, less stuff could have been left out. There was probably reasons why they did that, but yes. Anyway, to sort of condense what I'm saying and to put it in a small paragraph, the level design seems like a great idea. We're going to be thrown in different areas, and we're going to be experiencing different things. It's just going to feel that this is going to be a little showy. It's not going. I feel like the horror is going to be toned down a bit in order to showcase more, more lore. So it's going to be less of a horror game and more of a, hey, this is the lore that we were trying to get into. Which again, it's like the comic books. Are the comic books scary? No, they're lore dense, and I feel like this game is going to be lore dense instead of actually terrifying. Who knows? They're gonna. I highly assume they're going to figure out a way to implement an extremely scary vibe mixed in with all these different levels. But like I said, with Outlast 1, the thing about each level, each chapter of the game is that it was terrifying. We were in the same prison. It felt like we were going deeper in shit. And with this one, it just seems like instead of going deeper in shit, we're going to be going in different locations that are going to have the relative same fear factor, but there's just going to be more. There's going to be different little specs that we can investigate in order to obtain more lore about the game. Anyway, that's enough about this one. Now, the next one is: are the patients going to be watching the experiments take place on other people before they are actually experimented on themselves? Mother Gooseberry, as we all know, that I've really pushed, is she's a televangelist, and in one of the documentary clips, it's clearly stated that she created children's TV when she before she was kidnapped or before she joined Murkoff, or before she found out something bad and then they indoctrinated her into their twisted world of experiments. But what if they allowed her she's a TV producer, a TV star. What if they allowed her to create a TV show of sorts, and as prisoners are sort of being lined up, they're being put in these cells. If we can remember, in the second trailer, there's like different cells of the facility. There's a cafeteria where there's security guards. So obviously there's some type of outer perimeter, and the interior perimeter is going to be where the experiments go down. But in the outer perimeter, in those prison cells, will the characters be able to watch the TV, sort of maybe bid on the characters that are going to die, or sort of like like in Deadpool the movie. How there's this chart where there's going to be people that are going to die, and some people are going to be like, hey, we should actually, I get a better comparison will be Hunger Games, where they can choose, or they're just gonna be watching these individuals go into this hellhole and survive. Given Mother Gooseberry's occupation before being a part of Murkoff, it seems like that would be cool. I don't know if that is. I don't know if that's gonna happen. The horror element is definitely going to be toned down if we're going to see different characters be like, hey, listen, people are dying. Let's let's be scared, or let's do it. Let's fight in like a gladiator style. It definitely has its place. It might be cool as like a DLC or something like that, but and anyway, to remove opinion, I guess, Mother Gooseberry, televangelist, if she has if she's one of the high ranking, brainwashed people, and she was allowed to be given a TV show or be the host of this, disgusting TV show, then honestly, that'd be pretty cool. But it would definitely tone down the horror element of the game. In one of the teaser images, the one I previously showed with their the Axemen and stuff like that, we can see that there's 3 TVs. No, that's a lamp, but there's 3 TVs. Why is there an emphasis on TVs in this shot? It could just be the layout. It could be mind control. When they look through the TV or something, because I know there's this thing that sticks out that's in front of the TV. So it's quite possible that these could be mind control or keeping people in line when they're in these facilities. But it would be pretty cool if we actually saw different camera perspectives on these TVs, and if we were able to be in our cell, we can see sort of like a TV show of the Hunger Games like system of trying to survive and trying to fight and trying to basically survive the other variants that are chasing the main character. Why would this be a TV show? I have no idea. Perhaps maybe it relates to some type of data that Murkoff needs in order to conduct, Project Waldrider. Maybe it's just information that they need for a different project. Who knows? I don't like I said in one of the other podcasts. There's no way that this can be a morphogenic engine experiment in any way, shape, or form, because there are women in this facility, and like we've known from the comic books, these these women get spontaneously pregnant if they are even if they're even like a mile away from the morphogenic engine. It's very potent in its pregnant inducing abilities. So since there's women here, I don't think there's going to be any morphogenic engine experimentation. So the experiment that would need to utilize this kind of TV show setup, I have no idea. It would have to be some type of Murkoff thing that we would find out later as we progress through the game. And that leads me to the second thing, right? With a lot of this emphasis on Mother Gooseberry, is this her TV show? Is she going to be the primary antagonist like Chris Walker or Marta? Since this game is about morality, since we have to make these extreme judgment calls and decisions, these decisions that will save potentially hundreds of people's lives within the game, will Mother Gooseberry be an ally toward the very end? Unlike Marta, who, honestly just wanted to kill us by the end of the game, what if Mother Gooseberry, breaks free from her mind control state and actually tries to help the main character escape? She has like this, it's like a switch, maybe we kick her in the chest or something and that, flips a switch and she's like, hey man, I totally want to help you now. These guys are fucking assholes. I've been trapped in my, mind for a very long time. To sort of back up these claims, I guess not, to back up these claims, actually to sort of emphasize the stuff I was talking about before, she could be like the Wall Rider. How the Wall Rider was, an antagonist? Maybe she's not even an ally. Maybe she just sort of protects us from certain individuals. Like, the Wall Rider protected us from Chris Walker, even though the Wall Rider wanted to kill us. One of those things. So that could definitely be a possibility where she sort of jumps in at the last moment in order to, save us, and so we can, fully escape with the other victims. Another thing that could be up for consideration does Mother Gooseberry need something from the player? Will she snap out of her mind control and, will she beg for, mercy, or will she beg for, being saved? Now, that's going to be interesting. As we know, Mother Gooseberry, in one of the actual scenes that we actually see Mother Gooseberry, with the whole hand puppet and the characters giving her an apple and whatnot, we can clearly see that she is not killing us. That's an obvious thing. There's another animation where, she's like throwing us into a grinder, but she's there. She has an apple. We have an apple. We're giving her the apple, and there's this duck that can clearly kill us at any time. Obviously, in some parts of the game, she's passive, where she won't kill us. That in itself is very important. It's, like I said, it's like the Wall Rider. It had plenty of time to kill us, but it didn't in some parts of the game. Didn't kill us at all. So, what if during these missions, she doesn't kill us because she needs something in order to maybe continue her TV series, or she is subconsciously telling us to do missions before she kills us in order to prolong our lives so she can escape from the brainwashing in order to, be free. This is quite possible. And if we do succeed, we get her apples and we get her fruit or whatever she needs, whatever she asks us. And this could be another reason why Mr. Noakes is a huge part of the game, where she asks us to do stuff and she's like, if you don't do this, I'll kill you next time I see you. We go to Mr. Noakes and Mr. Noakes is like, yeah, man, I'll totally help you out. But you're stupid because you're not leaving. So he gives us the thing. We have to give it to her. And then we continue on living. We go to the different levels and so on and so forth. Man, I feel like this game is going to be, it feels really predictable now because I have all this speculative information, and I could be way off. I could be like way off. Now, I want all of you to come back to this video specifically, episode 3 of the podcast, when Outlast Trials comes out and we all beat it, to see how close I really was to the actual answers of this game. But anyway, to continue with what I was saying, Mother Gooseberry will most certainly be a bad guy, but in the end of the game, she will be a good guy. It seems like inevitable. It's an inevitable thing that's going to happen. She's going to need things. Like we said, there was an apple in one of the leaks that we got from Red Barrels. There's gonna be missions that we have to do. She won't kill us, and she will eventually break free from her mind control, and we can save her, and that will be amazing. Now, if she is salvageable, does that mean we can save the other villains of the game, like the Axeman, the Mallet Man, the twins, or should I say the grunts? All these different individuals, the guy with the creepy brace on his face, the guy with the radio head, the police officer. What if we can save all these individuals by the end of the game? It's quite possible. If we can save Mother Gooseberry, and our entire goal and our entire reasoning for participating in such terrible experiments is because we need to test our morality, then it would make complete sense that we would have to save these other individuals from the same damnation as Mother Gooseberry. If we weren't, I'd be completely confused. Because if we're able to, because these bad guys, these variants, all they are is just people that were experimented upon and basically and are being controlled by Murkoff. I wouldn't be surprised if they had, like a little joystick controlling the characters and going forward, or if there's like a massive vote by individuals to basically control the Axeman or whatever. So if they want to retreat, then they can hit a button and then they'll retreat. Or if the majority is we need to kill them, then they can go and kill them, etc., etc. But these, if we're able to save Mother Gooseberry, if we're gonna morality, why would they say morality? We're definitely gonna be saving people. In the first Outlast Trials the first Trials game poster, we can definitely see a hand reaching down and trying to lift up these individuals that have been abandoned. It brings the story full round if we're able to save these villains that we were being chased after. Imagine if we were able to save Chris Walker, if we were able to save Billy, if we were able to save, Marta or that guy that helped us in Outlast 2. Ethan. It would have been amazing. It would have felt incredible. And I think the Red Barrels, I think they're going to definitely implement that saviorism into this game so we can have that satisfaction. These guys were trying to kill us, but we find out that they're just ordinary people and they're going to be trying to protect us, from the end of the game, where maybe Murkoff executives are coming in, with like bazookas and shit. They're about to, release a salvo on us and and all that. And they jump in the way of the line of fire, and we get saved by the people that were trying to originally kill us in a triumphant explosion of heroism. I don't know what that's going to say about the horror factor. It's going to tone down how scary the game is, obviously, but it would definitely be one of those things where it's going to be like, yeah, we saved these people, and now they saved us. It came full round. came full round with Mr. Noakes trying to help us, help us give um, Mother Gooseberry to certain objects in order for her to actually break free from mind control. And for the other creatures, they will be able to be saved by things that, we don't really have too much information on, so I can't even speculate. Now, that is, that is everything I got. Now, if you're really enjoying these podcasts, I want you to subscribe right now, because this stuff, even though it seems easy to just talk about all this stuff, to come up with the theories, to come up with all this information in one condensed video, it takes a lot of time. My voice really hurts. But anyway, subscribe, and I want you to enjoy this content that I'm distributing. Not a whole lot of stuff is being released about it, but with my content, I feel like I'm providing a new spin on things, things that can be interpreted in wildly different ways, providing more entertainment to you all. And it feels incredible, honestly, being able to say that I feel like I'm one of the only YouTubers that is doing this, providing condensed information that is, relevant, that takes different elements from the stuff that's already been released and applying it to different theories. So anyway, just stop tooting my own horn. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and I'll catch you in the next podcast. Later.